right, let's get more on that appointment now of Ms Bullock today. David Alexander, Chief of Policy and Advocacy at the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, joins me now live. Pleasure to have you on the program, David. What is your take on Michele Bullock being announced today as the new RBA Governor? Are you happy to see a change?
Thanks, Ingrid. Yes, we are happy to see the appointment of Michele Bullock as the next Governor of the Reserve Bank. She's an eminently qualified economist, and she's also got loads of experience. So we think it bodes well that they've made such a confidence-holding appointment to such a key position. She's coming in at a very key time because the Reserve Bank's trying to engineer a soft landing to a slowdown. That's a very tricky thing to do. And she's also got a major review into the Reserve Bank that she's got to execute. So there's quite a lot on her plate as she comes in.
I mean, is that what you want to see her achieve, that execution of what we've seen in that review? And do you think she can do it successfully?
We were supportive of the review and a focus on monetary policy expertise. So that's not to say that every part of it needs to be followed religiously, but it was an overdue review of the Reserve Bank. There hadn't been one done for decades, and so a number of eminent experts were appointed. They've come out with a well-considered series of recommendations. We'll see how that plays out.
And what do you think about some of those recommendations? Because obviously there'll be less RBA meetings, but more press conferences after, well, press conference after every meeting now. We've got a bit of a different mortgage market to some of our global peers. So can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I think it is quite interesting that when the review looked at some of the monetary policy arrangements in other countries, they do have press conferences after each announcement, after each meeting, and they're recommending that in Australia. There's much greater interest in the public in Reserve Bank meetings in Australia than other countries, and there's a reason for that. It's that we have mostly variable rate mortgages in Australia, whereas other countries have mostly fixed rate mortgages. So when they have their meetings, often the public can go to sleep because it won't affect them in any immediate sense. This was such a phenomenon to a previous Reserve Bank Governor, Ian Macfarlane, that he did a review of media coverage of Australia and its central bank policies vis-a-vis our other peer countries, and found that, the Australian media was more obsessed with interest rate decisions. And so that's something that may impact on, if we're about to embark on Reserve Bank governors giving press conferences after every meeting, there could be a bit of populist pressure there creep in from the intensity of interest from the media.
Will certainly be an interesting one to watch over the next 6 to 12 months. David Alexander, really appreciate your instant analysis today. Thanks so much for joining us.